Welcome to the Body Matters class. Thank you so much for joining. And so everyone's welcome, still people coming in, that's fine. I'm really happy that you're here and that you decided to be part of this hour, of this moment. And so today there's another Body Matters meditation where we start with. And for the rest, the topic would be like the wisdom of trauma. I used the word, the wisdom of trauma, the title. And more of that later, of course. But we start with this, say, relationship with ourselves, with coming into the place exactly where we experience ourselves. And just not to walk ahead of ourselves, literally just staying right here where we are, not being distracted by anything for a moment, just being completely here is what we're going to practice, because you can do that on different levels too. And so in this class that we have now, that we are meeting each other in, is also the possibility of say, opening ourselves up for an inclusion of the body ideas into it, loving it and transcending it. You know, that's a bit like the setup of this. So we use a lot and we listen to a lot of, say, talks and all that, where we, say, receive beautiful spiritual information, really beautiful references, and that is great, and keep listening to it, absolutely. So here in this transformative class that we're in right now, it is really about, okay, so we cannot do this without taking a certain look at, say, how does the body fit into this whole awakening story? What does it mean to include it in? And how are we using the body in the transformation? Like the other day we were talking about physical conversion. So that's also a part of it. But now we're going even deeper into ourselves, so to speak, to say, check out the memories that are in there. So that's what we do with the second part of the class. So first of all, like I said, we begin with the Body Matters meditation, always a bit different, always expanding a little more. So there's an interesting discovery that might be in there for you too. So listen to this and participate in it. Practice with it, with me in this, please. That would be great. So at a certain point I will ask you to stand up. If you can, do it. And if you can't, just sit in your chair. That's fine too. It works anyway. So here we are. I'm going to help you or guide you. Not really helping, guiding. I'm guiding you through parts of your body to become aware of, like, okay, so let's check it out. Just do a little body scan ourselves to feel if there's anything that you feel or not at all. Because that's a possibility too, of course. So here we start. So it might be easy for you to close your eyes, since it really is all about your experience, your inner experience of the body, of yourself, of beyond that. But if you want to keep your eyes open, that's fine with me too. So here we go. So I will just also ask questions about the parts of your body. So first of all, you sit in the chair, or you might stand up already, who knows. But you sit in the chair, your feet are touching the floor or the ground or the table or wherever you put your feet on. And your sit bones are connected to the seat that you're sitting. And your arms might rest on the armrests on your chair. So the feet, first of all, how do your feet feel today? So are they cold? Are they warm? Are they feeling relaxed? Or Are there some other specific sensations going on in your feet? Oh yeah, let's do that first too. Like, oh, let's not forget to breathe. Yeah, that was a good one. So sigh a couple of times. Yes. Because this is all about relaxation. We're not really doing anything. It's just a matter of awareness altogether. So your feet are on the ground. You're breathing into your belly. Nice, beautiful breath. In and out. Just relaxed breathing. So then your feet are here, touching the floor, feeling the way they do right now. Your ankle bones. Your lower legs. Okay, so how are they today? Are they tired? Are they fresh? Are they, say, vitalized? Or how do they feel, actually? Are there any specific sensations going on in them? Okay, we're moving to the knees, including our knees into the whole story too. So how are they today? Are they feeling okay? Are they good? Are they relaxed? Are they different today? Are they different in this moment, maybe? In the meantime, if you feel like you need to take a deep breath, please do so. So help yourself to release whatever you can. Release tension, release fear, release anxiety, release whatever comes up. That's all included too. Okay, so we were at the sit bones, your pelvis and your hips. So how is your underbelly doing today? Are you feeling quiet? Are you feeling at ease? What specific sensations are taking place right there? Is your belly making noises? Can you hear that even? Or is that not at all the case? And is it quiet? Okay, we go up a little. So the membrane that is here for your breathing. How is that feeling today? So can you feel that when you breathe in, that your chest goes up and your belly goes forward a little bit? See, these are all physical sensations that you can feel. Okay, so how is your chest feeling today? How is your rib cage? Is it relaxed? Is it feeling just fine? Or are there any specific sensations going on? So we come to your arms, to your shoulders. How are your shoulders feeling today? Is there a lot of tension? Is there a lot of relaxation going on? Are you feeling completely relaxed and stretched? So how are your arms, your upper arms today? Are they full of energy, or are they quiet? Or are they maybe even tired? Maybe you did something already, like you lifted something, or who knows what happened. So all these memories are allowed to come up now, to let them go. So how are your lower arms? Are they good? Are they relaxed? Any specific sensations? Okay, here are your hands. Your hands and your fingers and your nails. How are they today? We are going to include them in anyway, however they are right now. So there's your neck. We're going to your neck. Like, oh yeah, my neck. Oh yeah, that feels good. So moving it around a little bit. Maybe you want to move your upper body anyway a bit. So it might help to relax and to release some tension, or who knows what is there. And so your throat area, is your throat area doing okay? Is it feeling like peaceful and quiet? So how is your head feeling today? How are your jaws? Are your jaws relaxed, or do you need to move them around a little bit to release that tension? And how is your mouth today? How are your teeth? How does your mouth taste right now? Is it okay? Is it, yeah, it is what it is? Or is it very specific right now? So your eyes, how are your eyes doing today? And your ears? So in your forehead, is your forehead quiet and at ease? Or is it tense and frowned? Okay, so there's your hair too, the hair on your head. How is that doing today? And the skin, how is your skin doing? Okay, it's all right here and it's all included. Not that we do something with it, but we include it in. We're not going to deny it, that we have certain sensations there, if there are. Okay, so I'm asking you now to stand up and we continue the practice. So you might want to put your weight on one foot and then on the other. So moving around a little bit, feeling your lower back maybe release some tension, or like, oh yeah, that was a bit compacted. Now it feels a lot better. So now you feel your feet again, but then you feel some weight on it too. And that is a different sensation, isn't it? So you're actually full in contact with the part of your body that is always in contact with the earth, with the planet that you live on. So that feels a certain way. So it's literally carries weight all day long while you're not aware of it at all. It does. And you're literally magnetically attracted to the earth. And at the same time, the earth is supporting you. It's supporting you. Wow, you can go anywhere. That's really lovely, isn't it? So that's also inclusion. Like now, if you take a really good look at your body, you don't even know where it ends and where it begins, do you? Except for your feet, you feel your feet. Like they're right there, but where right there is, you don't know either at this point. And that's perfectly all right. So here we are, standing on planet Earth, feeling our body moving around a little bit, having certain sensations, hearing certain things. Like, what are you hearing right now? Are you hearing yourself move a little bit? Are you hearing the noises in your room, like a clock or who knows what, a cat or dog? Or maybe some other noise? And if your window is open, can you hear the outside? Can you hear the wind through the leaves? Or can you hear the honking of horns or cars driving around? Or planes in the sky? See? Now you notice. Now you notice what is going on in your neighborhood, in your surrounding. Like this is all connected to you, to your presence. It is all part of it. And the great thing is then to realize that this is all connected to you. Like there's literally a relationship with that. Wherever you go, this is connected to you. And you cannot not be connected with it. It is always with you. It is always connected with you. Like the support that you feel now through your feet is in fact also the support that is always available for you. And so that we include that in, because it's literally feels comforting to feel that, you know. All right, so now you're totally say you can open your eyes right now. That's totally okay. And if you feel like, you can still move a little, or you can sit down, whatever you feel like doing right now. If you stay standing, that's fine with me too. Like, there's no rules for how to behave during the class. You're in your own space, so you can go wild or be completely quiet. That's all perfectly all right. See, it's interesting to do this, and since we're reading or getting in touch with a lot of information that goes beyond the body, that sees the body for what it is, and that is like, well, if you take a look at it, I realized that today too, if you take a look at it, well, where it's made of is not so very precious, it's like, no, most of it is water and all that, so all the specifics of that is not very interesting, in fact. But hey, this is where we use it. It's only temporary use, and it allows us to say, be in a certain place and use that place for our awakening. Because if we look at it in the terms of awakening, the body is very helpful, because you can go somewhere and meet others also, and seeing that. That is not the end of the story, but it's also not something that you can exclude from it either. But because you're sitting in front of the camera, or you're say watching this while watching at a certain screen or something like that. See, then to use this in your awakening is an incredible experience, because you go beyond all of this too. But see, if something is talking to you, like your body is talking to you in a certain way, in terms of pain, or in terms of tension, or in terms of contraction, it is like then that's information for yourself too. It's like you give that literally to your body, because that is the direction. You give your body the information that you want to receive from it. It's not, the body itself cannot do it. So you give it the information, you receive it. So that's the way you use it for a while. And so here we are. And using that body to awaken is also looking at, where is that tension? Or why do I feel uneasy about it? What is my idea about myself? How do I judge this body? Or how do I think about myself in general? See, all these things seem to be like real human concerns, and at the same time it is still part of your idea about yourself. So it's also part of the story, the awakening story that you're in. It is just that I want to take time to be aware of it, that is what you do. Because I can say, which is perfectly all right too, it's like I can use spiritual scripture, but now we're actually looking at the concrete, like the very basic feeling or experience that you have of yourself. And the function of that is, or the purpose of that is, to go beyond it, and in the end, by loving it, by not trying to avoid it, but by loving it. Then it can be healed. Then it doesn't need to come back. So this is also the place where we come to in the idea of the wisdom of trauma. See, and wisdom of trauma is a bit of a, paradoxical sentence to me, because it is like a contradiction, and because you don't expect to learn from trauma. It's like, no, you want to get rid of it. That's all. You want to get rid of it. If you have it, you want to get rid of it. You don't want to listen to it as being a great guide for something. So what is the wisdom connected to this? So maybe we discover that in this class. Who knows? So I want to keep it open, as you can imagine. I want to keep it open also to say, expand the ground whereon we stand. And so bringing it back to our body, being a memory package too. It's like whatever you don't say accept for yourself right now, you store it, consciously or not, in your body as a memory. So that means that suddenly so you do all this with your mind, of course, but your body is really like the hard disk drive, full of information. And you can test that really easily with smells, for instance. So the associative, say, function of smells, how you use that, is enormous. So you connect everything you hear, everything you register with your senses, and relate that to memories. So, but where do you sense it? Like you sense it with your body. So that's interesting to take a look at. So you probably have a smell that maybe reminds you, like I have a memory right now. I have a memory of the smell of hay that I smelled this afternoon when I was feeding my little rabbit, and I had an association of the hay that I smelled with when I was working with my granddad, like many years ago. You know, so you have specific smells that come. Yeah, that you associate with certain situations, certain memories. See, and that is like, where's that stored? It's all stored in your body, in your physicality, on your body hard disk, the bio hard disk. And so this body seems to have a memory of itself also. And that is really interesting to take a look at too. So your genetic material, if we would put you under a microscope, take a look at your cell, take a look at the nucleus that is in there, seeing the DNA that's right in there, seeing that if you go even a little deeper, that all these fragments and sequences that you are discovering all have an ancient they're like stamps of an ancient time. So some of them will be pretty new, some of them will be really old, like really old. And the same as when you look at your body, you see the whole unfoldment of a whole universe being spread out. Like you see all kinds of ages running through it, all kind of eras running through it. Especially with your brain, it's easy to discover that, but in your cells it will be like that too. So that is an interesting discovery. It's unbelievable that literally everything is related to everything, and not to make the body real. Then, like, I'm not too concerned with that, to make the body real. But see, at the same time, we're looking at it now, so it is like. Temporarily, it can be very helpful to use it, including it in your awakening. So that means also, like with the idea of trauma. Okay, so you grow up as a kid, and something happens when you're very young. You see that certain situations you're very sensitive for, and you don't really know why. So you grow up a little later, you grow up, and you see that still certain situations really trigger you, and you, in those moments, you feel like blocked, you feel triggered, you feel alone, you feel that you're not the one that you normally are, something like that. So you feel that you're responding as a child almost in certain situations. So seeing yourself as a compassionate human being, or a compassionate being in general, these moments then are change when you feel locked up inside yourself, feeling that there's some blocks. I cannot express my compassion with my brother, or I cannot express my love to them. I'm actually feeling that I want to attack, or I want to run away from this, because I really don't want to feel it, basically. So this is a bit what happens in the, say, in when you see the movie, for instance, Wisdom of Trauma, a movie by Gabor Mate. He's talking in that movie. He shows you certain things about that. I don't want to go too deep into that, but you see that the very beginning of a child especially is then the incredible, say, dependence on your parents or on the ones that are bringing you up. It's like those have, your attachment to them is like a loyalty 100%. You don't even distinguish between them and you. So that takes a couple of years before you discover that you're separate, almost like a separate being from them. You're not really separate, but you discover your own will. You discover that you can decide things for yourself. So that part, like the attachment part, is incredible, like the basis of any relationship. You're attached to them and you're attached to the ones around you. So then there's another part, which I just already almost mentioned, is the idea of you're a unique self. You know, you're a unique self. Even as a child, when you grow up, there's only one you. You're unique. People will tell you that too. You're unique. And it's like you have something that is very authentic and to you. Having experienced tension in that attachment, having a conflict in your, even in your unconscious life as a child, as a young child, you see that suddenly there's a giving up of the authenticity, of the uniqueness of you. You're going to adapt yourself to your parents or to your to whoever is around with you, in order to discover that would be the way, at least to say, to continue the attachment. And that is a very, say, sacrificial thing to do, in fact. So you're familiar with it. You know what I'm talking about. It's like you sacrifice your own ideas, your wishes, your desires. You sacrifice those because you actually want to be part of the group. Like it would be like almost like an animalistic way of adapting yourself to emergencies or danger, in fact. So giving up this unique self, giving up the idea that you can just be yourself and that will be completely accepted, doesn't seem to be in some of the occasions. So that means also that you will rediscover that self, you will rediscover that, but it can take a moment. And so putting this in the whole line of awakening, it becomes still a totally different story, because it's like, okay, so apparently I need to discover who I am as an ego identity, who I want to be and what I want to do, how I want to do my life, so to speak, as a human being. I'm going to set this up for myself, but it doesn't seem to work that easily, because something is stopping me from being truly myself, like being honest about myself. So by the time that you start to take a look at that and receive some help in discovering this, say, ego identity, you might walk up against the idea like, well, okay, so now I am, say, mostly free of my trauma, of my bad memories that I have, and they don't seem to influence me that much anymore. And I got pretty lucky with my job and found someone to live with, and we even have kids and blah, 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 blah. But then, see, then there's the idea of awakening. So then it's like, okay, you build that up, and you for a moment you just knew who you are, and now you walk up against a whole different wall, which is one of awakening. Suddenly you discover what I thought I was isn't what I am at all. Oh my God, what is this? And then you start to give all that up again. So that's really, so just to at least mention this line, this whole sequence, so to speak, is interesting, because this is the part that you will have to take a look at in your awakening. And some parts you go through really easily, and some trauma that might occur only, say, when you really become quiet in yourself and allow that pain to come up, or allow that to start to speak to you. See, and then it is the tendency of us as in a Western civilization, basically, is then the tendency of that is that we try to suppress this fear or this pain or this anxiety, or try not to think about it, or try not to take it too serious, but at least the one thing that you try to avoid is completely feeling it. Well, here's then the connection with the idea of wisdom. Like, the wisdom is literally coming to you through feeling that completely, not avoiding it, no, feeling that pain, and of feeling that fear, feeling that whatever you need to go through, and going, say, make the commitment to yourself to not avoid that anymore, but to do the work to get through that, and see that that's not the end of the story, but actually it's an essential part in the awakening. So now we get to the point where I can actually freely talk about awakening. See, that's kind of nice that I can do that now. That's how it feels. Like, that's a relief. Now I can at least take that part. Still referring back to the sequence that I was just talking about. So then in your awakening, you take a look. This is still pretty descriptive, but anyway, I do it anyway. So it's like in your awakening, then you come to the point where you start to do the work, where you actually start to go into these feelings of deep pain, or aloneness, or loneliness, or how whatever's coming up for you, feeling abandoned, feeling totally in lack, feeling so sick, or feeling this or feeling that. You start to include that in and not avoid it, not trying not to feel it or trying to fix it. So the most beautiful thing then happens is that while doing that, while going deeply into that, something occurs. There's a possibility to open something up in yourself, where you actually discover, oh my God, this pain is really related to the idea that I have to do this all by myself. But look now, I decided to go right in it, and I actually sink right through it. Right underneath of all of that is a comfort that is totally new for me. And this is like, oh yeah, wait a minute, I read in this book, like maybe it was the Bible even, or I read this thing about dying, dying daily, and going into that, and say the practice of dying daily. Oh my God, I'm actually doing that now. So this is like your opportunity for the practicality of going through healing moments yourself and being born again into a whole different, say, place of trust. And trust is then not even being afraid to go into that pain, because you know it's not what it appears to be. So there is something right underneath all of that. That is where you are looking for, and that is where the light is, and that is where the healing is, and that is where you can actually come in touch with your, say, real authentic self, the subjective singular experience of yourself with a capital S, seeing that is a shared experience, that everyone is included in it, and that you feel connected with everything. So this is the opportunity and the offering in the classes that we have, in the moments where we become quiet, or in the moments that we allow some healing to occur. in the moments that we have an appointment and sit still and allow a different experience to come to us. So that is connected to the idea of trauma, of wounds, like wounds, whatever wounds, yeah. So that is also stored in your body, like memories, wounds, scars, you name it. So in seeing that, even by doing so, your body changes, because the body is just a reflection of you, of course, of your mind, of your, it reflects to you how you think about yourself. So allowing this healing, you feel literally that something falls off of you, that you are coming into an experience of being born again. So that is a real opportunity. So pain is not there to suppress or to avoid. And loneliness isn't something that you should avoid either. And you name it, all the things that I said before. It's like, don't avoid it. No, it is a beautiful signal. It's a real opportunity to deeply go into your individual work, to the opportunity for healing. So this is literally how my awakening, say, intensified or really started, with a different experience of myself. I was so terrified and so anxious. There was no moment where I was not that, it was really like going all through everything. And I'd like, okay, so this is not acceptable to me anymore. I'm willing to go through it and let me completely be taken by fear. And I will do that. So that's what I did. So I went literally into that. At a certain point, I made some kind of ritual for it. I went straight into it and invited fear to come and get me. And seeing that underneath that, like going through some real intense fear, but going through it, suddenly I appear on the other side of it, where it was very quiet, and for a moment I was just completely lifted up out of the fabric of this, of this construct I had made. And that was the start of my awakening. So then going through this, like having this experience where a sudden shift is taking place, even physically, that had a great impact. Suddenly there's a state in which I come on a daily basis where I completely freeze. I have to take a shower to warm up again. And when I warm up, I start to cry. I cry for at least half an hour. I have no idea what I get rid of, but it feels great. Like after that, I'm feeling completely reborn, completely fresh. And I got rid of a lot. That's how it felt. So I did this for a couple of months, just spontaneously was that happening. So it's not that this should be happening to you in this point, but I'm just telling you my experience with it. So how this can work. It's like literally there's a whole release. Once you take something away, like a block away in that, and experience a new experience of yourself, your whole body and your cells start to vibrate differently. So that's also like a great opportunity for even more healing to happen, to occur to you. So being in that place where you allow this healing to occur, it is like an avalanche. Like, okay, yeah, include that in too. Yeah, bring it on. It's like this. I'm doing the work. This is what I do. I'm just standing right here and letting that occur. And I have no idea what to do else than to just go through it. So there's great opportunities for healing. See, maybe the reason that I share this with you is that you don't know how this will come to you and how this works for you when you haven't experienced it yet. So this makes it easy for you, because it even seems like you don't even have a choice in how you do this. But then when you're in the intensity of it, but be sure that you don't want to suppress anything, but letting it come up, letting yourself go through it, and taking time to be with yourself to allow that to occur. See, and that is a practice that becomes a practice from that day on too. So now I'm happy if I enter into a place where I can do the work and release and feel that something is taken away, and entering in deeply into, say, the gratitude of the reconnection of, feeling that I'm reborn. Yes, this is what I do. Wonderful. So the first time it might be scary, or it might be very intense, but once you come into the practice of this, you see, it is part of it. Yeah, and I drop in it right away because I don't want to delay this anymore. So that is really lovely. So that is related to the idea of trauma, of when do I feel that I contract? When do I feel that I contract and respond as a child, or want to run away, or feel that I want to attack? Like when that comes up and you feel that in yourself, there's just some work to do. You don't have to, project that on anyone. No, you can take that in and use that as, okay, this is material for my work. I'm going right in it and going through it in sheer confidence that I will meet my comfort right underneath all of that. So that is then the wisdom, if you want. Like, it will reveal something to you that you haven't been in touch with before. That's the beauty. Like, it always brings you to a deeper place. It's wonderful. That's great. And at the same time, your relationship with yourself becomes one of healing. It's like, yes, absolutely. This is what I do. Okay, I said a lot. I hope you can relate to it. It would be lovely. And don't be scared to let that avalanche run you over. It's like, don't be afraid of that. No, it's not so scary as trying to hold it all together. That's really scary. So don't even try that. Don't try to hold it together. No, you can release whatever you want, because this is like the most legitimate path that you can possibly do. You're waking up out of a nightmare of separation, returning back to your father. So what is it's very legitimate, and you will see that the circumstances that you're in are going to be helpful. It's like it's going to be supported in a whole different way than you're used to, but it will definitely be there. It might not look at the help that you expect that will come to you, but there's certainly help and support. See, all this experience, can't believe it. So it's like beautiful to see that is something that you can give away too. Make it easy for your brother in that sense. Share it by just making it easy. You go through it. Wonderful. You're never alone in this. I hold your hand, I'm right here. So that is really what I want to give today. So thank you for putting up with me, and thank you for healing with me and being on this path and being in this, era of awakening that we're in right now. Seeing everything waking up. That's really lovely. That's so beautiful. You can't believe it. Okay, see you soon. Thank you.